That shit's freaking me out. It sounds like some like a Catholic mass. As the priest is walking down the aisle.
That was ABBA. Dancing Queen.
It wasn't The Exorcist. It was ABBA.
Sounds like a Catholic mass.
This is Chris Hansen.
This is TJ Hushmanzada.
Chad doing Rip City Radio here.
This is Jamie Hudson.
And I need to let y'all know something. You're listening to.
And you're listening to.
It just makes sense.
This just makes sense.
It just makes sense.
Woo! Way better than Chris Hansen.
Yeah, seriously. I want to get involved in the rigging of Fat Bear Week.
In relationship to Fallout Boy.
Oh, Fallout Boy. People are.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
we got it.
Cut that.
Like, someone should hire you to be a protester. 4 bills dead weight. They're not getting you off that court.
They look at me and I'm like, I fucking dare you.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
dare you.
I mean, like,
Tractor, there's nothing that can do.
They gotta be forklift certified.
Oh, I can't be a Cowboys fan because of this moral high ground that you are on. Bite me. Eat me.
Bite me. Eat me. I mean, gosh.
I'm so sorry to everyone that we just did that to.
Everything I just said before that, I just made that shit up.
Small enough and dumb enough.
Small enough, dumb enough. That's what we want.
That is It Just Makes Sense. Guys, we have some breaking news. Aaron Rodgers has not been traded since we have done a podcast. And some Tom Brady news as well. Some breaking Tom Brady news.
Yeah.
80 for Brady is now on Paramount Plus.
I think
streaming on Paramount Plus. Yeah.
Those two have taken over my least favorite topic over the Paul brothers.
Oh, I need to turn this light on over here. Hold on, we gotta get fancy.
Let's get lit.
Lit. Turn on. I don't know if you're gonna get a light today.
Lit.
I guess not.
Would you say lit? You're not supposed to pronounce the T.
Lit.
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 Do one of you guys have your telephone?
Yeah.
Can you call Jordan?
Sure.
We need to call Jordan.
Why?
I'll tell you about it here in a second.
Why?
And then if he answers it, put it up to your microphone.
Jordan.
He's not going to answer, is he? He's too afraid. He knows exactly why I'm calling.
He answers his phone.
He knows exactly why we're calling.
Hey, Jordan.
Hey, Jordan.
You're in the middle of the podcast.
You are.
You're in the middle of the pod. Peter wanted me to call you. I don't know why.
Okay. So, Jordan, I hope you had fun on your Mexican rendezvous with Juan Magoo. Did you have fun?
I had fun in Mexico with the Mexicans, yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Hey, I'm calling you because I was scrolling on the Facebooks earlier today, and there was something that you responded to on Facebook that I wanted to reference here on the podcast, which was you responding to a Bovada post saying, make one rule change to make soccer the most popular sport in America is what Bovada said. You responded, nothing. The game is as beautiful as it is.
Oh, my God.
Who responds on Facebook to that?
Someone who's bored and trying to not listen to his mother and her neighbor complain about politics. I don't know.
Gotcha.
Good response, Jordan.
Great
response.
I just didn't know who responds on Facebook to like post these days.
Peter was trying to.
Who wakes up at fucking 1 a.m. and has a sudden urge to fucking jack off, Peter? All right, so, things happen on the internet. This is real life, okay?
I don't even know why we said something about jacking off to what?
Peter tried to burn you at the stake, and you responded with jerking off about something on Pornhub.
Hey, if you guys want to stay on, I'm about to place an order at McDonald's. So,
no, we're good. We've got a show to do. We got a show to do.
All right, give me a 20-piece.
Shit.
We're gonna hang up.
This isn't,
This isn't McDonald's.
Oh, I'm not at McDonald's. Where's my car? All right, Jordan.
We're all done.
Get him off.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, bye.
Bye, Jordan.
All right. I just couldn't believe that like someone our age is like responding to like a corporate post. But soccer, you can't change anything about it. The game is beautiful as it is.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he does have a point. He didn't respond to a political post. I mean, it was soccer.
Okay, that's what he was saying. Okay, whatever. Well, welcome back, guys. You're fresh back from Mexico. I am back from San Diego. That's where we've been.
Braxton's back from the dead.
Yeah, I know. At this point, I mean, every week that we end up missing is almost like very much we're getting hit up to make sure that everyone's living. But we have been making some money moves as well. We'll share that in the future. We're not quite ready to talk about those yet. But
Not to quote Cardi B or anything,
we're making some money moves here. So
Twerk it.
that's what we've been doing.
Pete learned how to shake his ass.
I know. It took me weeks, literal weeks, to figure out. So literal weeks.
Now you know how to twerk with one cheek, one at a time.
Mm-hmm. That is impressive when people can
Mesmerizing.
do that. Quite. Yes.
Imagine if Pete one day was like, guys, I've been working on something.
And then he just pulls
I
his
have
pants
just-
down.
And he's like, I've, really been taking this seriously, trying to get my health in check. I started taking these twerking classes. And I really just want to show you guys what I've learned.
Bop, bop,
And
bop,
he just
bop.
hits it.
Just
Claps them cheeks.
yeah. Well,
I'd
first
be impressed.
it's gonna be years before that happens because I got to get the butt first. I have the
Got to get the BBL.
and I got the flat ass, the flass from my mom's side. Yeah, flat butts in the Sokon family.
Yeah.
Big old flat butts.
Too bad for your ma.
Yeah, sure. Anything else happening in your guys' world? We want to talk a lot of sports tonight. I know that we have a lot to catch up on. A lot of big stuff here.
We're just on vacation mode.
We were
That's
just
all.
in vacation
we're on
mode.
vacation mode.
Braxton's gonna be gone next week. We were gone the last
Yeah.
2 weeks, and we got
It's
we gotta
vacation.
decompress and relax from
Yes.
from all these fucking stressful
You guys
topics.
are very
Yeah.
demanding here.
Yeah.
But just when you think that you are going to kill us off, we just keep coming back.
Mhm.
We are like
Cockroaches.
cockroaches. We are immune to the whatever it's called in The Last of Us. Whatever that. What is that called?
Zombies?
Yeah, but there's like a thing, like
Halo,
something in their brains, the fungus that grows.
mushrooms.
Brett, have you watched The Last of Us?
Nah.
Juan? I mean, you might like it. I
you
enjoyed
would
it.
like
I'm not a big zombie guy, but I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
I heard it's scary.
It's a little. It's not. It's more like on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, it's like tense.
Yeah. It's
I
very
wouldn't call
tense.
it. Yeah, there's not a lot of jump scares, but I'll tell you what, like
I might
that
watch it.
that episode with Nick Offerman made me cry like a baby.
Yeah.
So don't get too attached to his character. Don't get attached to any character in that movie, really. I know I'm very late on The Last of Us type of thing. I feel like I should have said this like
I don't
a
think
month
you're too
ago,
late.
but like at least I
think
wasn't
it's
like
still top of mind.
I was 5 years in before I finished Breaking Bad, and then I got mad at Dan Patrick because he told me that that Walter White dies, and I go, "Oh, you spoiled it."
Were you there with Dan having a personal conversation?
Yeah,
or
and
something?
I was driving. It was on the radio. there.
Wow.
So
That'd
and
probably
then
be
he spoiled it. I was just like, "How dare you?" Then
that
I
would
realized it
probably
was
be the
5
only
years
thing that
old.
would make me watch The Last of Us like sooner than later, just so it doesn't get spoiled for me.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, everyone. I mean, it's very like
Is it over? Like there's
No,
not going to be any
there'll
more?
be a season
Oh,
two.
there'll
just not
there'll be
soon.
another season, but it'll probably be another year
Take a while.
at least.
Yeah.
But it's a very good show. Usually, I think the like doomsday or kind of apocalyptic type movies are, they're so much the same. I guess they've all kind of become the same thing. This one kind of makes it a little bit different.
Right. It's kind of like it. I was gonna say it's like Game of Thrones in the same thing that everyone dies, but I mean like it's very different.
Yeah, it gets you.
Yeah, it sure gets
And
you.
and there's like a part of it that's like with them, including the fungi. It's like, wow, this could actually happen.
Right, yeah. I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to eat pancakes again type of a thing when they were talking. You don't really know the origins, but you speculate on how it all
Speaking of Doomsday, I watched that Shyamalan movie, Knock at the Cabin. That was all like Doomsday, end of the world type shit. And I didn't think it would bother me until every single apocalyptic, like, end of the world type shit, they used Oregon as an example.
Oh, great. Nice.
I'm like,
that's awesome.
well, all this, like, I know this shit's
never
coming.
in Oregon.
I know this
Yeah.
earthquake is coming. I know this tsunami is coming. And they're like, oh, reporting live from Cannon Beach. Ah!
Oh, God.
Jesus
really?
Christ, it's
My
real.
goodness. Well, no, so I know that you haven't seen the show, but I am curious about this because there was an article out kind of in the wake of The Last of Us where they were doing a study on what would be the best shelter to seek, which mall in the entire United States would be the best one to seek to stay in shelter in place if a zombie apocalypse existed. And there is a scene, there's like a whole episode that revolves around a mall. I'm not spoiling anything here, but that one of the characters was in seeking shelter in a mall. So I wonder what your guys' approach would be. Would you try and do like the whole, like stay in your own house? Would you try and do the Nick Offerman approach? Frank, I think is the character's name, where you're just out in the wilderness trying to build your own thing. Are you trying to team up?
Took over like a small town.
He took over a town, yes.
But are you saying
Would you team
where
up
would-
with people?
where
would you
would
try
we-
and isolate by yourself?
where would we seek shelter? Or are you
Yeah.
specifically asking, like, which mall?
No, I mean, would you go to like,
Westfield and Tukwila?
yeah,
Yeah.
you try and hit
Pine-
up a
Pioneer
great,
What
Place?
zombie knows where Tukwila is?
yeah, a Great Wolf Lodge up there.
First of all, Westfield Shopping Center in Tukwila has Jollibee. Number reason.
one, yeah.
Number two,
I'm sure they'll stay open during whatever goes down.
The gravy is what keeps the zombies
no
alive.
one knows where Tukwila is. And the trains wouldn't be going, so the zombies has no way of getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't know. I think a mall would be a great place. Obviously, lots of resources.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you're thinking logically, a lot of people would be there when the outbreak would happen. So it would be probably a source of outbreak. There'd probably be a lot of infected there.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, there was a Why the Last Man, which was on FX or FXX or whatever the hell. There was a group, a commune that had set up in like a Costco type of a thing. But then you have to think about like the looters or the people who come and like try and take over your
But see,
shit.
Yeah.
at that point, it's every man for himself,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So why not find
No rules.
like
yeah.
the biggest fucking brick mansion in your neighborhood, kill those people, and take over the house?
Well, I guess because that could happen to you very easily as well.
I would probably go towards. I would lead towards the Nick Offerman of I would try to get away from the populated areas, try to be able to use whatever skills I have to like just camp out and make my way towards like a smaller town, maybe out towards like Central Oregon.
Maybe Silverton or
Yes.
Mount Angel.
Yeah, something like that where there's not going to be as many people. Maybe the population runs a little bit higher in their average age.
Sure. Yep.
So I might be people not as hard to deal with if I have to fight for my life. And it's like there's still enough resources there that wouldn't have been as picked over because there's not as many people.
Definitely. Yeah, I hear that.
Can
You know what I
zombies swim?
Only one way to find out.
Yeah, I suppose.
What if you go to a floating home or a houseboat?
Not bad, yeah.
Get that out in the
Yeah.
Cruise ship.
middle of
Yeah.
the lake.
Cruise ship?
They
Cruise
can't
ship,
get
man.
to you.
A
Yeah.
cruise ship would be nice. I would think that zombies can't swim, but they don't drown.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
I can
So,
get
I mean, they'll take the time to walk over.
that. Yeah, they just find their way back in. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Just right there.
They'll make it.
hmm But do you guys subscribe to that? There are some people, like we know, we have one of Lindsay's best friends has like a bunch of acreage up in Longview, and they're building a total off the grid thing. Not like necessarily like a big like bunker for an apocalypse bunker, but are you guys, or could you see yourself becoming that type of a person?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where you just like really prepare for that, where like multi-millionaires and billionaires are digging these like gigantic shelters for the event
Like,
of nuclear war. or
Every
whatever
time
the
I
heck.
see The Purge on TV, I visualize a house that I would build in the future, where it would be made of fucking bricks that you can't get through, and I would have like on the third level, I'd have one of those like they have on top of the tanks, where I can just fire and spray
Oh,
fucking
sure.
everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've thought about
A
that.
turret?
Is it? I don't know what it's
Like a
called.
gun on
Like a
top?
gun, yeah.
Okay. Jesus
I
Christ.
know what it was called.
Mowing them down.
Who would you get to install that for you?
Car toys.
You gonna? What's that app you go on? What's that? What's that app you
Better
go
way to
on
go.
to find people to fucking install your TV or whatever?
Yeah, TaskRabbit.
Turret installation.
Sure, we're installing this.
Specializes
We're
in-
installing this turret for you.
I've
Anything
got a
else we can do? I'm like, what about some speakers, some surround sound?
Yeah.
I've got some
I can listen to
50
music.
caliber
You need to lure
machine
them in.
machine gun.
Lure them in with the sound and then mow them down.
So you have this extra weird, awkward space next to where we're installing the turret. What would you like there? A fish tank.
Yeah, I know. What
A
if
mini fridge?
what if Ice Cube shows up and he goes, "Hey, we're gonna pimp your bunker."
Exhibit, you mean?
Exhibit, yeah.
Jesus.
Come on, dude. That's
Christ.
disrespectful.
Cube would fucking
My
knock
bad.
you upside
Exhibit.
your head.
Okay, fine. Same thing applies.
Wow.
But Exhibit shows up and he wants to put a game.
No, I
cube
kind of
in.
like Ice Cube now. You got this Ford Pinto?
We're gonna put a GameCube in your zombie apocalypse bunker.
Get a microwave next to where the bullets are.
Would you have wanted to pimp your ride? Like, honestly. I mean, like, those things, it's so unreasonable. Those things all break down. Like, there's horror stories about
it. Depends on which car in my life it was. I can only think of one car I would have been willing to be like, yeah, let's pimp this thing.
Right.
Actually, two cars.
I had a Tahoe that I would have liked to get pimped out, and the Focus.
Oh, the Foci? Yeah.
Because you
Should've
know
done that.
Exhibit would have
Mine
put
was a Focus too, a Ford Focus hatchback.
Exhibit would have put a microwave in the back for the Hot Pockets.
Yeah.
You would have been like, I
Killed
really
that
like
battery.
hot dogs.
So he has a roller.
Hot dog roller in your trunk.
Exhibit would be so excited to show me where the buns get steamed. He's like, if you open this right
It's just
here.
right above the wheel well.
Yeah. There wasn't.
It tastes like rubber.
Audi a few years ago had done a
The
April
rice
Fool's
cooker.
joke about the rice cooker. That's right, and I believed it. I was like, all right, they're debuting
Yeah.
it. Then I realized how kind of low key racist it was. They're like only in Japan. Or
I mean, I
something
put a
like
deposit down.
that. Still haven't gotten it back. Still
Oh,
haven't gotten it back. Well, that's that. Well,
All right, thanks for listening, guys.
I said
don't
we
know.
had sports and we went zombie apocalypse
Yeah, we went deep.
and elsewhere.
Ashley will enjoy it. She watched The Last of Us.
But the final bow on the bunker, like I feel like I should at least like print a bunch of stuff out and at least like have
Flyers.
yeah.
Blueprints.
or just like a folder of like how to do XYZ, how to build this, I know how to start a fire, but I mean, like, you know, our power goes out, and then all of a sudden you realize how fucked you are all the time. You're just like, oh
Yeah.
gosh, I don't even have a way to heat anything, and then you just totally feel helpless. So I mean, I'm toast at that point. So
I
do need to get more like survivalist, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. One thing that's common in Mormonism is like having food storage and having, you know, what they call 72-hour kits.
Kids, yeah.
So it has enough food, water, has like a water filtration pill.
Spam.
It has medical
Plenty of
stuff.
spam.
Vienna sausage.
And yeah, a lot of stuff like that. And then like in all the houses I grew up in Utah, we had storage rooms in our basement that were just for food storage, and we had like those 50-gallon drums of water and stuff like
Sure,
that just
yeah.
all the time. And so
I feel like
follow me, let's go meet up with my Mormon family.
Yeah,
we'll
we
be
can
fine.
learn a thing or two.
I feel like best place, now that I think about it a little bit more, we were watching, you know, the like island or flipping a home show. I don't know if it's HGTV, it's a different channel. But they're like, oh, people buying an island or whatever.
Got you. Sure.
And I was just I was watching an episode last night where it's a couple looking for an island to build a resort, like in the middle of Fiji.
Yeah, it's totally uninhabited.
You're in the middle of the fucking water.
There's no systems to get you anything or electricity.
No
yeah.
power. It's like it's gonna cost $500,000 to get electricity and power there. I would be there. I would be there just with fucking weapons and like canned food and water.
Yeah, you can go and get your whole fish.
Yeah, like I mean, if they're swimming towards you slowly, every time they climb up on shore, you just blast them.
Mm-hmm. That's
That's
true.
what you would do?
Throw your feces at them.
At some point, you're going to go crazy. You realize that, though, right?
Yeah, I know. Like, have you learned
And then
nothing
you'd-
from Tom Hanks?
And then you'd probably kill yourself.
Well, then misery's over.
yeah,
Yeah.
don't bring a volleyball.
I mean, what is best case scenario when this shit happens? You live
Go early.
You live happily
No,
ever
just
after.
get dead early.
No, but I do think that there's solutions to where you can be safe. You can be with other people that you trust, hopefully that you know, have relationships with. And that's probably better for you in the long run if you do have those relationships with other people, so you stay sane. But I mean I think that we could make it.
But what does it mean when you make it? You are living in a fucking
I think-
bear down, nothing left, everything destroyed town, and what's left?
Well, I guess it depends on what has happened to get us to this apocalyptic state. Is it disease? Is it warfare?
Right.
What is the cause? Because if it's warfare and our
The
a
air you breathe.
nuclear bomb has gone off, and our city has been destroyed, then obviously we've got to get up and move and go outside of where the bomb radius is or whatever.
You know what I feel like is going to start this, where we are going to have to deal with it? Chicken shortage.
Don't want a chicken shortage.
That's what always starts everything.
Chicken shortage.
We've had a chicken shortage, though. We
Not
survived.
like this.
Not like
Not
this.
like that.
I told you about Wingstop. I got tiny ass wings a couple
You
weeks
did,
ago.
yes. That is. It really is
no.
the sign of the times at this point.
Pretty
Jordan
sure it was
has,
quail.
Jordan has followed up in a text message to me. He says, "While you're on Facebook, you smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my page. Some people stir the pot and others let it stir them. Stew on that, PETA." Well, there you go.
I mean, what a sign off.
Well,
I mean, you blindsided him
I
by
did, yeah.
by calling him. The guy just wanted to enjoy his McDonald's. Now he can't even enjoy his
No, he didn't even
nuggets
think
because you
about-
blindsided
because
him.
he's thinking about how we're following up that conversation too. He just can't wait till this episode comes out.
Watch
now.
him drive over here.
Yeah, he was.
Should
driving,
we should
yeah.
we tell the audience about what you did this weekend, Peter?
Oh no, we can't do that.
You blabbermouth.
I am a blabbermouth. I let out information that I thought was free, that was out there amongst everyone, and it wasn't, and I felt so bad about
It's
it.
very on brand with Peter's favorite show. Peter's favorite show, just like my favorite show, is Boy Meets World growing up. And there's an episode in Boy Meets World where Corey Matthews wasn't supposed to say
Yeah.
anything, and he was just covering his mouth. Every time he lifted his hand, he's saying the secret.
He was saying that mom was having an affair, right? Yeah.
Well, you got something to tell me, Corey? Mom was having an affair.
Mom was on a date with another guy.
Yeah, that's exactly what he was doing.
Wait, Corey's mom had an affair
No,
on Boy Meets
it
World?
wasn't. It was they were, the mom and the dad were both pretending to go off and do other
To
things.
spice up their relationship.
But they're
meeting up with each other.
So Amy was going off and doing bowling, and Alan was at work late or something like that. But then they saw the mom, or they found a dress or something like that in her bowling bag or something, and they were like, "Oh, now we've got to go and figure out what mom's doing." Then they see her dancing with another guy, but it was dark, and so it was the whole thing. Had to be there.
That made no sense.
Yeah. But then they go, "Hey, we wanted
It
to
was
get
their
away
dad
from
the
you
whole
three."
time.
It was the dad the whole time. It was like, we wanted to get away from you three pricks. We just didn't want to hurt your feelings and say that we
Meanwhile,
needed to get
they're
away from
following them around.
you. Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Who would have thought?
Would have had to be there.
Guess you'll get it when you have kids.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You'll understand when you have kids. Okay.
When I grow up.
You'll be a Toys R Us kid. But not before that. It is time to talk sports. Juan Magoo, you're looking a lot lighter because of what you just did to my bathroom after dinner, because we had Indian food tonight, but you're also...
Because the Peloton's in your bathroom.
You're also a lot heavier in the pockets off of winning the bracket.
90% mass. Yes, it's true.
Other
I'm
than-
rich.
Yeah. Congratulations on winning $1,000. Well, I guess now we shouldn't say that because people try and mug you, but...
They will.
Good luck. Bring it on.
Yeah, I dare you to look around my body and try and find it.
$1,000, I'm grateful, very excited. I'm thankful for it. But $1,000 as an adult just goes to bills.
Yeah.
I don't even get
Yeah,
to
I know.
fucking.
You're
I
a
don't even get
homeowner
to.
now.
Yeah,
You are
well,
a
what's
homeowner.
$1,000? A third of your mortgage?
Yeah.
Cool. No, it's not the first time I've won a bracket, but usually when I win a bracket, it's because I had the champion. This is the first time, as chaotic as this March Madness was, that I won without having the champion, the winner.
Yeah,
and with an absolute mess of a fucking bracket. It was just no one had UConn in the final.
Yeah, it was.
I had him in the final.
The total brackets, there were 4% of brackets had UConn in the final, and only 2% had them winning.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was just insane how much parity there was, and we always talk about that. But then it kind of gets down to it's like, oh, you have a 4 and a 5 seed now in the championship. But I mean, like UConn, a lot of people were talking about how they were, not seeded correctly, and they probably should have been a higher seed or whatever. I mean, that's all in hindsight at this point.
I know that there's a million brackets that gets filled out on like ESPN and March Madness app and all this shit, but all in total, I was in 5 different bracket pools with probably just under 300 brackets total. Only 2 of those brackets had UConn winning the whole thing.
2 out of 300.
One was a kid.
Yeah.
And that kid won
That's saying
$1,000.
Wow, how about it? That means a lot more to him at this point.
I placed
Good for
second
that
in
kid.
Jarrah's bracket pool for $46.
$46.
That's how you do it. Big money.
I know Jarrah sends me a Venmo request today that says March Madness bracket. You lost. I was like, thanks, Jarrah.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
You pay
That's
for your
Jarrah.
pool after March Madness it's over.
She doesn't beat around the bush.
That's true.
Okay.
I probably should have paid earlier now.
Yeah,
that
you
we
gotta
talked
pay
about it.
early.
You gotta
Yeah.
actually
I'm surprised.
not be
She didn't
tracked
pay you
down.
double.
Yeah.
What if you just
Interest.
deleted your Venmo?
Yeah. Just went off the grid.
Nope, sorry, it's not me.
I pulled a Juan.
Juan.
Where's my $1,000?
Oh, we're blasting you, Juan. You
Fucking
fucking
Juan.
deadbeat.
Following
You bitch.
Okay, so UConn SDSU, the Levant Butler shot was incredible. We saw that. We were watching it together at Jimmy's. And then, you have UConn SDSU 4 and 5. Were you guys compelled by that matchup? Were you guys just
No.
drawn in because it was college basketball and it was a championship game?
I
do you
thought
feel
it was.
about What did it do for your plums?
It doesn't matter who plays in the NCAA finals. To me, I'll always watch it. I just love one of the best postseason is March Madness. So I like seeing the end of it. But this was absolutely one of the least interesting you knew what was going to happen.
Right. There was not a single person who was thinking
everyone was UConn was just too much for people.
Yeah.
Everyone they played, they blew them up by double digits.
And NCSU just couldn't score.
They weren't going to.
They weren't going to score. So
I will say, though, looking back on that game we watched at Jimmy's, we were sitting there and we were watching the game, but we were pretty much engaged in conversation and eating food almost the entire game. I will say maybe watching the game less than 50% of the time, actually sitting there watching the game. And there was a bracket pool that's done at Jimmy's, which is for quite a bit of money. And there was some guys behind us that were in the running for that money, and they needed FAU to win. And you could hear them kind of behind us, groveling or cheering and that kind of stuff. And you could tell it was really worth it to them.
Oh, no.
And,
oh, no.
And at the end of it, San Diego State hits that incredible shot, and Peter pops up out of his chair and literally screams, screaming at the top of his young, yes, pumping his fist,
I'm shaking Jesse.
jumping. He is like he just won.
I had 0 money on that, by the way.
The funniest part was you turn around and you go,
I had $20.
I just won $20.
That's right. I had $20 with you.
Yeah.
I had $20 with Miguel.
I just won $20. And the guy behind us was pissed.
I didn't even see that.
He was pissed because he had just lost a lot more than $20, I would assume. But it was just so funny. Did not give a shit about this game the entire time.
Yeah.
Just
It was
sees
the
that
minute
buzzer
to
beater,
go.
and it's like he went to school there.
I mean,
was so
I
funny.
love San Diego, so that's that. I was just there.
Dude,
I
what
vacation there.
a great excuse.
Yeah.
Dude, I love
I
San
love that.
Diego.
I'm going
okay?
to live there. I'm going to retire.
I love
there.
vacationing.
It's my.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't.
Don't Donald Trump.
I wasn't happy.
I had Donald Trump in there. I love San Diego.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't happy that FAU that they hit that shot because I knew my bracket was gonna come down to points.
Yeah.
And I was like, San Diego State doesn't score, and I wanted FAU to win. So when they hit that shot, I was like, fuck, that's not going to be good. And you saw how close it was last night. We're literally counting down on through text message.
Right,
I'm like, all right,
yeah.
they need 31 and 6 minutes left.
Yeah, because you needed a specific amount of points to win all
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, it's a
And
tiebreaker down to your total, and I needed.
I think there was
one-
8 minutes to go, and it was like 34 points. Or so. It was like, you are screwed.
Yeah, it's like 31. I needed 31 points with 6 minutes left. I needed 132 total, and then got down to 18. And then you text, and you're like, maybe they'll start fouling.
Yeah.
And the free throws will. I'm like, if they make fucking free
You
throws.
got to make them. Yeah.
And with a minute 20 left, needed 4 points, and
Cash.
they kept fouling.
It was nice of you to split the pot, though, to like not go all or nothing. I get why you did it, but
Yeah, it's 1,000. Technically, the pot is 1,400, and it's usually winner take all. But we just agreed on 1,000 to the winner and 400 to second place, which, not gonna be greedy for $400
Sure.
bucks. It's still
still a lot of money for both of you.
It's
even
a
if you
little bit
lost.
harder to swallow if you split down the middle 50-50. It's like, oh, you get 750
Right.
for winning. Like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
I get that. Okay, so UConn gets its 5th title. They are 5-0 in championship games. They have the most championships since 1999. Since 1999, collectively, UConn with basketball and volleyball, soccer, all these other their entire school has 49 different conference titles.
I mean, big credit to the women's team.
Yeah,
That
for
women's team is the most dominant there.
Conference titles?
Sorry,
or
the national titles. Yeah, I misspoke. The collective titles, I meant, not conference.
First for Dan Hurley, though.
First for Dan Hurley. You know what's wild is that 3 consecutive UConn coaches, back to back to back, have won a championship there.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. And it is interesting because you had sent us this graphic earlier when we were talking about like the blue blood of UConn and kind of like where did UConn kind of come from, right? Is that I don't necessarily put UConn, and maybe I should, maybe everyone should, when you think about how they stack up against North Carolina, Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, Villanova, Michigan State. I don't always put UConn in there. Should I?
It's weird, right?
Right.
I thought about that today. It's like, what is the definition of, as far as men's basketball in college? How do you become a blue blood? And a lot of it is like before we were born type shit.
Yeah.
We're talking like Adolph Rupp, Kentucky, and Pat Riley, Kentucky, and Dean Smith, North Carolina. And it's like, where's Kentucky been? They've been getting recruits, and their last championship was Anthony Davis in 2012.
Yeah.
You could argue that Duke and North Carolina, they've always been there. I mean, Final Four last year. They've always been there, but Kentucky's nowhere to be found.
Yeah, I mean, Kentucky hasn't been anywhere since the Anthony Davis year.
UCLA,
Yeah.
I've been missing until like the last 2
Couple
years.
which I thought UCLA was going to put it together this year.
Yeah, and
but-
it's like, why don't we consider UConn a blue blood? Why don't we consider Villanova a blue blood? Like Jay Wright's won 3 championships there. It's
Yeah.
like, what? I don't know what the category or what the requirements are to be that, but I certainly personally I put UConn there.
Yeah, me too. That's what I was going to say is, I mean, I think it's really until you start just considering them in the conversation, do they become a blue blood? I think it's kind of just really such a vague thing, at least in my opinion. But in my mind, they're there. They're absolutely one of those top schools historically, and especially in recent history. As you guys just mentioned, a lot of these blue blood schools, they get this title because of what they've done so long ago. It's like that's
Cowboys.
cool. It's great history, but what have you done for me recently? And a lot of them haven't.
I would say I would put UConn as a blue blood even before winning this title.
Yeah, for
They
sure.
had 4 before this.
They did, yeah.
And those were not, they were fucking impressive runs. I mean, 2014 with Shabazz was a 7th seed.
They've all been low seeds. When
2011 Kemba was a 4 seed.
Yeah, they've
this
done
was
it on a
4
13 seed before.
Yeah, so
crying out loud.
I mean, all Jim Calhoun and all those championships, and the fact that their men's and women's have always been there. I mean, the fact that UConn wasn't in the fucking Elite 8 women's this year is insane.
Yeah,
like how
wow.
dominant they've been.
It brings up an interesting point, and maybe it's just in this current regime under Dan Hurley. But I was wondering, like, why are they under-recognized? Because, not putting them in that category. And after the game, after the championship game, Dan Hurley was up on the podium, and this is what he had to say, just in terms of, like, maybe why UConn is under-recognized. And I'll get your thoughts on the other side.
How many coaches in the country that have won 25 games or more in 3 different programs and now have a national championship? So, obviously, there's a certain level of validation that's going to come from this, but I just feel like my career in coaching, even prior to this, I think most coaches, maybe I don't do a great job kissing the media's ass and presenting and, this image that's incredibly likable. But, I am who I am. I'm where I'm from. I'm from
Jersey City.
From Jersey City, and this is how people from Jersey City act.
And what do you guys think about that?
I don't know if you can ask me. I love the Hurley family.
Yeah,
I love the Hurley
ASU
boys.
is
Bobby Hurley. Bobby Hurley,
Duke.
best Duke point guard. Their dad, this entire family, especially like the brothers and the dad, they're just rough around the edges. They got a fucking temper. And it translates so well in basketball, especially as players. Like Hurley got into it with Leitner all throughout their entire career because he would scream at him and he would yell. They're such intense people. I've always loved Bobby Hurley and Dan Hurley, and I have nothing bad to say about him. And that's how he talks on the mic. Is exactly how he is when you see him coaching. When he talks to his players, that's just how he is.
Yeah, I totally buy into this. Is like, listen, I am showing you how good I am. I don't need to go out and try and prove this to you with how I talk about it. I don't need to like try and be chummy with you. I don't need to be in this club or something like that where I'm just like playing this game. He doesn't want to play that game, and I could totally relate to that. It's kind of like when you're like interviewing for jobs or you're doing this, or it's like, why would you want to work here or something like that? You're like, money, like I don't know, like I want
money.
Yeah, like I don't
Money.
know much about this. I don't know how to like talk you up because I haven't worked here yet. Like I am interested in this or whatever. So you have to like during this, I'm going on a weird tangent here, but like during this interview process, you're trying to like build it up and say how good things are, and you're playing that game. Really, when you're just like, look what I can show you. I'm showing you that I can win here.
Yeah.
And the fact is that we're being under-recognized here because I'm not playing that game, because I'm not mucking it up with you guys. I'm not like a John Calipari or anyone else who is on the Final Four
ain't trying
stage
to be,
after he's already been eliminated.
He's not trying to be a cool kid. And I think they're being under-recognized for 2 reasons. Number 1, he's not the guy that's trying to be with the cool group. Number 2, and to me is what's even more impressive about this national title, he doesn't have a Kemba Walker or a Shabazz Napier or a Rip Hamilton on this team. This was a team full of fucking like role players that were just tough as fucking nails. These, like, you saw how physical that game was last night. I mean, they were getting their shoes were coming off like multiple times throughout that game.
Yeah, then
there's not
still
one
playing.
there's not one star on that UConn team. There were a bunch of hardworking, tough-nosed fucking players, which is exactly a reflection of who their coach is. And that's how he coached them, and they were so dominant throughout the fucking tournament that it was, I mean, what can you say? What's a negative thing that you can say about UConn? It's crazy.
No. Yeah, I definitely feel that they deserved to win this. I mean, and like I said before, if you're not putting them in that category of blue blood now, then you're just stupid.
Yeah.
Like, that just doesn't make sense.
You're just a Mean Girls pod.
Yeah, how many other teams have 5?
I mean, Duke has 5. There are
UCLA has 11. Kentucky has 9. North Carolina has 6. Duke has 5. UConn has 5.
Yeah, so
Villanova has 3.
yeah, you're putting yourself in an upper echelon, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're getting that number, I think all of those teams should be considered blue bloods, and obviously most of them are. But it's like, but wouldn't you also consider, like, what would you consider Indiana? Is that a blue blood?
Oh, yeah.
Indiana's at
just
5.
because of
Yeah.
their
Not to
They have
disrespect
5?
Indiana.
They're at
Indiana
5.
should be up there.
They're at 5 as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Totally
Okay,
forgot about
well, yeah. Then I guess that makes sense. And now that they're at that point, you definitely have to put them in that conversation. No questions asked.
Yeah, so I was looking it up as you were rattling it off, not to fact check you, but it's UCLA 11, Kentucky 8, North Carolina 6, Duke 5, Indiana 5, UConn 5, Kansas 4, Villanova 3. So
Everyone on that list are blue bloods.
Yeah, agreed.
yeah, and what's interesting is, like, Kentucky hasn't won it recently. I do wonder, there's a lot of heat, even though Kentucky has a number 1 recruiting class again, and they're the early odds to win next year. But they're also saying, oh, is John Calipari on the hot seat if he can't figure this out? The thing about John Calipari here is that he thrived in one and dones, but the NIL and the transfer portal have both come along in the last decade, which makes it very hard for him to operate at this point, because guys are sticking around longer because they can get money before they go to the NBA. They're wanting to stick around to get a little bit more. And then if things don't go well, they can just leave and play right away. And so I think that John Calipari hasn't adapted, despite the fact that he's getting these great recruiting classes, because you're turning this over every year and you're not able to put it together, and guys are there for selfish reasons. They're not playing team ball, and I think that works against
He's
him.
not. I follow college basketball closer than any other sport, and Cal is not able to adapt.
Yeah,
he's
he
not
hasn't
able to
adapted.
adjust. His coaching style is biting him in the ass. Because what he used to be able to hang over a player's head is, you're here for me to get you to the league. You're here for 1 year, and we don't give a shit about classes, none of this shit. I'm getting you to the league. He doesn't have what other programs have, which is a culture. Duke has that culture. Even without Coach K, they can succeed because they have the culture of, you see the Tatums and the Kyries and the Zions. They rock Duke. They go there and train. They are close with everyone there still. They wear the shit all the time. It's it's a brand. He has not built that in Kentucky, and there has been a couple things that have burned Cal since the championship in 2012. That team with the Harrison twins and Devin Booker and Tyler Ulis in 2015, where Duke won the whole thing, that was an undefeated Kentucky team that went to the Final Four and lost to Wisconsin with Frank Kaminsky. He has not been able to recover from that. And then 2019 comes around. He gets the number 2 recruiting class behind Duke. You remember that Duke-Kentucky game early November in Madison Square Garden, where Zion and RJ ruined and ripped apart Kentucky by 37 points?
Yeah.
And the next day, Stephen A. Smith on First Take was like, these were supposed to be the number 1 and number 2 recruiting classes.
Yeah.
Why was there such a big difference in talent, where Zion just ripped them apart, ruined them?
Yeah.
And he can't.
Zion
he's
was
not
so
been
much more fun in college.
He was. Well, he hasn't played.
Yeah, that's because he hasn't played in the NBA.
Yeah. It's something.
Okay, so we've talked ad nauseum about the men's title game, but the women's game was so much better. Oh my gosh,
It was pretty sick.
Caitlin Clark is a fucking beast.
You had Iowa and you had LSU. You had Caitlin Clark and Bayou Barbie and things.
The most unlikable coach in women's
Kim
basketball
Mulkey.
history.
Yeah, I should have known she was an anti-vax.
I mean, she should have gotten 3 technicals. She should have gotten a technical after the ejection.
Oh my gosh, she makes contact with an official and yet Caitlin Clark throws the ball away and gets a technical foul, gets her an extra personal foul with that as well, which put her at 4. Officiating was one thing. I don't necessarily, by average, I think this had like a couple more fouls than a traditional championship game would have. They were at 37.
I think it was
the average
8 more fouls.
No.
Was it?
No, I think it was like 3 or 4, but maybe I could be totally wrong. I'm not going to fact check that.
I thought that's what I heard in the podcast, but I could be wrong.
We could both be wrong. We'll see. People are not listening to this podcast for us to be right. So
That's
at least
true.
we have that.
It was
on
8.
our side. Okay. It was
16.
8. So many extra fouls. But I mean, okay. So which aspect of this game do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about were you surprised that LSU could pull this off?
No.
What was surprising was in the first half where, oh gosh, her name is escaping me now.
Caitlin Clark?
No, the gal who scored 21 points for LSU off the bench, who hadn't
Jasmine.
scored. Jasmine.
Jasmine something. She looks like Ice Spice.
Jasmine Carson. Jasmine Carson hadn't scored in 3 games and then rattles off 21 points in the first half. I mean, it was a big difference in that game.
Big time.
And then you had, Alexis Morris and Angel Reece do their thing. And afterwards, the thing that really took over, which was a really good game ultimately after Caitlin Clark sets all of these NCAA records and championship records, all of those things throughout, despite the loss, is Angel Reece tapping her finger and then doing the John Cena you can't see me to replicate what Caitlin Clark had done earlier on against Louisville. And I think they were saying that she was doing it early in the championship game, but they didn't show it.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
Before we go into this, how does that translate into basketball?
That you can't see me?
Yeah, I've never understood that. Like, I understand it in football.
You don't know why the action is happening?
Like,
Yeah,
you can't see me is just like you can't guard me.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like-
okay.
That's what you took away from this?
No. I before we got into,
Well,
because I know it's about to get
When
deeper.
Bobby Boucher says Captain Insano shows no mercy, what does that mean?
Before we got deeper
Yeah.
into this, I know we're about to. I just wanted to
I
ask.
know. It's like
Okay.
everyone else, all the national publications are talking about the race war happening within it. And then he goes, what is she doing that you can't
What does
see
this
me?
even mean?
If you can't see her, how could this whole thing be about race?
If you can't see her, it just doesn't make sense.
The race
We're all about making
the
sense.
race card was just brought up by one media person that just took off.
Yeah, well,
Like,
I mean, he
people
was
just
the
decided
biggest.
to ride
He was the
aside.
biggest megaphone, Dave Portnoy. But I mean, like, he wasn't the only one. He was just probably the one with the biggest following, who was basically saying, like, I forget exactly what he said, but I think he called her a bitch or something.
No, I think he said, "Oh, that was classless."
Classless or
That's
a piece
what
of
it was.
shit or something like that.
He
It
was
Yeah.
saying that what Caitlin
classless piece of shit, I think.
He
is
was
what
saying
said.
that what Angel Reece did isn't the same as what Caitlin Clark was doing, which I don't agree with. Because he's saying, like, Angel Reece was like seeking Caitlin Clark after instead of
Yeah,
celebrating
she was
or
like
whatever.
following her around after the.
But it's
game
like-
doing it.
I don't know if you've heard interviews with both players. And Caitlin Clark was like, if I'm gonna, I
She has
can
every right to do that.
I
yeah.
can take it if I'm gonna dish it. They played well. She has the right to talk shit.
Yeah,
And even
it's the
Angel Reece
competitive
was
spirit.
like, "There's no beef between us. The beef was created by everybody else."
Yeah.
But like, look how good those two are for women's basketball. We're talking about it. Everyone's fucking talking about it.
Yeah.
It made the game more exciting because you had these players that are playing with emotion, that are talking shit. That's part of the game.
Yeah, and
Made
honestly,
it more fun.
And honestly, I kind of view this as like, okay, you have the reason that Dave Portnoy is even, paying attention to this game and upset is because he has a huge bet on this game. That's a positive for women's basketball. The fact that it creates a conversation online, even though it's a sensitive conversation in a lot of ways, people arguing about sports is what makes a lot of men's sports so popular. Oh my gosh, that's a cat.
Oh, hey, this is the cat that came into my house. There it is. And
He's
there it
always
is again.
he's
This cat
always
is
hanging
just
out whenever
always
we
in my.
record.
Oh my God, there's a cat. That was the one. Now that we'll just totally at our serious topic, that was the cat that I accidentally trapped in my house last week.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Accident.
But no, I do think that this is all a little, obviously it's a little blown out of proportion as a lot of things can be, like trying to make it about race or whatever. I think it's just two women's basketball players in the heat of battle kind of going at it.
Yeah,
I
for
didn't
sure.
think it was anything like that, in my opinion. But my point is that all of this is such just an overall positive for the sport and for women's sports in general. Like, people getting mad about sports, it's like that's a sign that the sport is growing.
Yeah.
That people care.
Women's
so much
basketball won.
that they're gonna get pissed. Exactly.
Women's basketball won.
Exactly.
And when you think about and both those players are going to be coming back next year. They're on the same career trajectory, which is great.
Yeah.
And when you think about what went down, is that a lot of people were outraged because a lot of people were actually kind of tuning in for the first time. This was 9.9 million people watched that game. That's more than like a bunch of NBA games. That's more than like college football playoff games.
Wow.
That's more than any WNBA or women's college basketball game ever. 9.9 million. It attracted so many people, possibly for the first time. So when you see that and you don't necessarily know the context behind it, you're just immediately outraged. And then, you have Angel Reece, who is outspoken, who claims she doesn't fit the narrative. She goes, I'm hood, I'm ghetto, I don't fit your narrative. And she's unapologetically herself, and I love that. I love that confidence. And, again, then you had the First Lady, Jill Biden, who's basically saying, like, hey, good job, everyone, good participation award trophy. We want Iowa to come to the White House, too. And then that set off a whole other thing, too, because it was just like, no, that is reserved for the winners. The winners get to go.
I didn't know that. That's a little odd.
And then Caitlin Clark was like, no. She was like, I hope that I can go there at some point or any other circumstance.
Thanks, but no thanks.
But I'm not.
Yeah,
like,
she's like,
that's reserved for winners.
The White House isn't for runner-ups.
Yeah.
Like, let LSU enjoy their time there. So it's like you are the two main subjects of this whole thing have spoken, and neither of them have been saying what's been said by everybody else. Everyone else is creating everything.
Yeah, they're not doing it at all.
Doing anything.
And you know what's funny is, like, I love, like, Alexis Morris after the game is like, Caitlin Clark, you need to put some respect on my name. She kind of WWE's it a little bit. She's performative. But there's also the same context where just a couple of days before, Alexis Morris was like all starstruck in the tunnel doing this video where they're dapping each other up and they're saying hi to each other. And, like, it's just the competitive nature. You're in that game, and you love that. You love to create the content.
It seems to me like the actual issue is people don't want to see women act like this. Because
they don't.
I mean,
they love it when Caitlin Clark acts like that. They don't like it when Angel Reece
That's
acts
true,
like
but that's also a thing that's being pushed on us. I'm saying more like if a Russell Westbrook or anyone else does the whole back and forth with somebody else, it's fun. It's fun for the game. But because Angel Reece and Caitlin Clark are going against each other, they're like, all right, take it easy.
Yeah.
Like, but it's good. I feel like it's really good for the game. They even said it's good for the game.
I think it's great for the game.
Those two are coming back. Because what's the alternative? You go to the WNBA, they'll probably get fucking paid more by NIL staying in college.
Yeah.
They're going to make women's basketball in college more fun. There's going to be more people tuning in next season than WNBA, unfortunately, because WNBA is not making any money.
Right. They would make more money by staying in college, I think, through the NIL.
Probably get an NIL deal for $2 million over making, what, $500,000 in WNBA?
I mean, you're not making a lot of money in the NBA. So it is, I do, like, I'm not saying that people have a case with the Angel Reece situation, but the argument is, oh, she went and sought her out. And I don't know if we don't have the right angle to know if Caitlin Clark was doing that at anyone in that Louisville game, the you can't see me type of thing. Did Angel Reece like get in Caitlin Clark's way to try and make sure that she saw it? Yes. But again, it's
whether she did or
whether
not,
she
who
did or
gives
not,
a fuck?
who cares?
They
great.
dominated them. They won. I would talk shit too.
Yeah. I loved it. And I think that that's like, and I love what Angel Reece said after the game too. She was just like, I did this for girls like me who want to like grow up to possibly do this. Like, hopefully this can be transformational for the next generation of athlete. I mean, like, women were not encouraged to do sports 20 years ago. at the way that they are now.
Yeah.
And so like we've seen that steady increase year over year, and it's finally it's catching up. We're seeing it. It's not as like I think that's what we've seen there.
Unfortunately, it's just we live in a world where all someone needs to do is plant a small seed and it'll fucking take off.
And here's another thing. I'm kind of tired of like NBA player antics. I'm tired of, I'm tired of guys on load management. I'm tired of like the Kevin Durant who are saying, "Oh, I don't even care what my legacy is anymore because he's just thinks he's so vilified." I'm tired of the LeBron Jameses who are controlling the narratives and all of this. When you see, they go, "I'll go somewhere else to get this," One of the reasons I love like the Portland Winterhawks so much is amateur hockey because the guys they're playing for something. They're nice. They're young. There is something so pure about those types of things where it's just like the sports matter. There.
Yeah,
they're still trying.
Yeah, I just.
Are you tearing up again?
No, I'm just like so annoyed at like especially professional basketball. I've been so turned off to the NBA lately.
Yeah, and it's. I think it's great that the players gained a lot of control over the years, more so in their financial futures and controlling contracts and things like that. But I do think that the scale has tipped maybe a little too far the other way, to where these players are showing a lot of entitlement, and it's kind of creating this ugly kind of fog that you're kind of explaining, which I agree with, where it's just like not. I don't know. It's like I'm starting to find reasons to, have NBA players that I like. It's really a longer list of just the guys that I don't like.
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
I agree. I like I think I'm always going to be that person. It's like before the players had no say.
Yeah.
And they were kind of puppets in the league.
Yeah, which was shitty.
Yeah, like what's wrong with them having a say now? I get that. What it eliminates that I don't like is competition. I miss the rivals.
Yeah.
I miss
there's
sort
no
of the
rivalry.
hatred when, I'm going to go off against this guy because I don't like him. The Kobe mentality, the Jordan mentality, like that doesn't exist anymore because it's almost like a WWE show to a point where like, Chris Paul's talking shit to Westbrook, but they're going to have dinner later. They're friends.
Yeah, their families are going to vacation in the off season.
Yeah, Damian Lillard had a really revealing interview recently where he was talking about how the entire NBA has shifted and how when he's kind of criticized for his loyalty and all of this stuff, that he's just kind of like, listen, like when we're talking about the polar opposite of that, like that's not the NBA that I came into and that I like. And then you have the Anthony Richardsons as well, who at All-Star Game was talking about like, if I could change something, I would just want there to be less load management. Or Anthony Edwards, sorry. Anthony Edwards. Sorry, I've got NFL and
I was
NBA
like,
in my brain.
Richardson, doesn't he play quarterback?
Anthony Edwards for the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
And he was just talking about load management, how he just kind of wishes that didn't exist. So it's a very different game.
But the cool thing is with the NBA today, with players having a say, players like their words actually matter and people listen to it. Because of comments like that, because of Anthony Edwards speaking up, because of Buddy Hield saying, fans are spending their life savings to be able to see you play on the road or whatever, the NBA is listening because CBA just put in a rule with you have to play a minimum of 65 regular season games to be considered for individual awards. That's a huge difference.
It is huge.
That is what, 17? That's
17
games.
That's right.
So that's a big step forward, and who knows what else is going to come from that. But
they didn't change the early age, which I thought was really important.
Not yet.
Well, yeah, but I mean, in this CBA, I mean, it's going to be at least 5 more years, I think, probably after that. So,
what's the early age? I'm not sure what you're.
Well,
talking
just
about.
like the one and done, they're not going to allow. They're not going to allow guys coming right out of high school. So, That was something that had been talked about a little bit. And, we were talking about guys that we don't really like or whatever. One of those stories is Kyrie, and we've seen it just like totally fall flat on its face with the Dallas Mavericks right now, where Luka is basically just fed up with everything. The intention was to, put someone around him, but now they're just like the worst defensive backcourt in NBA history, and they're losing. They actually have a worse record after the trade than they did before. They were in playoff contention. Now I think they're a game out of not even qualifying for the play-in.
But what's the so here's the big picture of the Dallas Mavericks situation. I think you look at Dallas before Kyrie goes there, and you see Dallas as somebody who's going to make the playoffs, a team that's a little above average, and then Kyrie goes and they tank. They go 1-9. Kyrie's not a likable guy, so naturally 100% of the fingers point at who? Kyrie. Is he the issue? Is he the problem? What is the problem with Dallas?
Well, so people are starting to turn a little bit on Luka.
Right. Kyrie I like Kyrie. I also like Luka very much. Kyrie going there has kind of put Luka on blast. Had kind of brought it to surface what Luka also doesn't play defense. Luka is a hero ball type of guy. Now he's not that guy anymore. He has another superstar with him. He is having major problems with it.
Yeah.
And now they're not communicating, and now Luka goes through an interview, and someone asks, how much do you miss Jalen Brunson? And he goes, a lot. That's bad for the locker room. You say that out in public, they're not going to make the playoffs. They'll barely make the play-in, if that.
Yep.
I just feel like it's not a one-man problem there.
Yeah, I haven't watched enough Dallas games to really give a strong opinion, but I do agree that as somebody in that position, if you're to tell me, oh yeah, there's trouble in Dallas, my initial thought was, oh, it's Kyrie's fault. Yeah. I think people are going to side more with Luka, especially because he has the history with the team. Kyrie's a newcomer, and obviously his history isn't positive.
An organizational fail by the Mavericks as well to let Jalen Brunson go. To now then trade a first-round pick plus more, plus the guys who were more complimentary to Luka, to Brooklyn. So now you have no more role players, no more first-round pick, and now you have a guy in Kyrie who's just going to go to the Lakers next year.
That's to me, that's who you blame.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
you blame the organization because
I would be pissed if I was a fan.
You as an organization know your team best, right? Why would you bring a person that needs the ball in the backcourt with your superstar
you think that's going to help Luka? Yeah. You're trying to appease Luka by bringing in him? It was the weirdest trade.
That's not what he needed. They were attracted to the name and got rid of everything else to get him that wasn't going to work. Yeah. That's 2 point guards who need the fucking ball. That's never going to work.
Well, you should have bet me on the Lakers making the playoffs.
I was going to say, the Lakers might not be in the play-in.
A 6 seed, 7-4, or 7-3 in their last.
Did they win
winning
tonight?
4 straight.
So,
let me look.
Will you look something up for me, Pete?
Sure.
Where are the Nuggets and the Jazz at as far as making the playoffs?
Well, the Nuggets are the number 1 seed.
That's
and
what
the
I
Jazz
thought.
are the number 12 seed. They're 1 game difference in between the Mavericks right now.
Who is
the Jazz and the Mavericks?
Which is
they're
in what position?
The Mavericks are 11 and the Jazz are 12.
And how close are they to making the playoffs? How many games out?
Well, so the play-in is
top 6 make the playoffs automatically,
and then you have
7, 8, 9, 10 playing each other for the play-in.
Okay,
so right now the Jazz are 2 games out of the 10th spot.
2 games out of 10,
and they're 2. Is it 2 games?
They're 1 behind the Mavericks for 11, and they're 2 games behind the Thunder at 10.
Okay.
So the Thunder,
I hate to burst your bubble since you're going to the game. I don't think Utah will make it to the playoffs.
Damn. I'm going to the game on Saturday, which I think is the last game of the season.
Sure. Okay, yeah.
And I was hoping that they would be playing to go to the playoffs. But they're playing the Nuggets.
The Thunder might want to lose these games, I don't know if they have if they have seeding, like if they make it into the playoffs, if they lose first-round picks, they love to hoard their picks.
Also, I don't know if that's been updated, but the Lakers beat Utah tonight in overtime by 2. So that moves the Lakers up 1 and Utah further down. Well, not still above Portland. They're still above Portland 'cause Portland's done.
Shut down Dame.
So,
yeah, you've got 3 more games. This will be telling. Thursday night's game will be telling to see which team wants to be in the playoffs and which doesn't. Thunder Jazz on Thursday.
basically, you're looking at 3 teams playing for the 10th seed. Thunder, Mavs, and Utah. The least likely team that would get the 10th spot would be Utah.
Yeah, at this point.
Damn. Well, hopefully they're playing for it.
Yeah, I mean, like Utah has the Thunder, the Nuggets, and the Lakers to close. So a little tough stretch there.
Yeah.
So
That's a tough stretch.
So then,
Well, I hope it's a good game at least.
so
I've got floor seats, court side.
for
is
the
that what it's called?
Blazers, the Blazers game,
No, this
or
for
the
this
Utah game.
for the Utah game.
Oh, okay. So you have the Lakers,
No, their last home game.
their last home
Against
game.
He's
the
going to the
Nuggets.
Utah-Denver game in Utah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got very confused by that. Then
Yeah,
yes,
I'm
that is
flying
correct.
to Utah on Friday.
Okay, yes. It's a day game. Interesting.
The
1:30.
only shitty thing is because the Nuggets have the number 1 seed lockdown, you might not see like Jokic or
yeah, you
Jamal
might
Murray. They
not.
might sit him and rest him for the playoffs.
That is a danger.
So you might not
Fuck.
see Jokic play.
I know. His life
But you might see Utah win that game because Jokic
Dude,
isn't playing.
all I know is that there's a whole buffet of free food. So
Yeah. Okay, so
Drown
what
yourself in
So if
dorks.
Jokic dives into you, could
I'll
you
kiss him.
Well, okay, so do that. But
Easy.
But then also be like, dude, I can't see out of my left eye. Medical bills paid for.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have said that. That's going to be broadcast. But
Yeah.
your intentions are find a way to sue.
Spotify's
Nikola Jokic.
turning this into the FBI right now. Just
Yeah,
Find a
that would be great to have the ability to sue a professional basketball player.
Do it. Just
Yeah,
like
right.
promise me that you're not going to be like all racist like every other Utah Jazz fan.
I'll try.
Okay.
I'll try. Also, if Jokic is the one who dives into you like that, pretty sure he's not going to pay. He's going to send his brothers to beat the shit out of you
Yeah,
for trying to
that's right.
fucking sue
That's
him.
right. You don't want to mess with the Jokic family. I
No.
totally forgot about
Wrong
that.
guy.
On you.
I'll just get like a signed jersey.
Yeah.
Maybe some season
You
tickets
do not
next
wanna-
year
I totally forgot about
To
the brothers.
Denver.
to Portland.
They're going to take care of you.
You got to buy season tickets for another team.
Got anything else?
Masters.
Oh,
The most important thing of the year.
Yeah. I thought we were wrapping this up, Masters.
Fuck no, man. We haven't been here in 2 weeks. I'm ready to be here for another hour.
Okay, so let's not get through the Masters, but I do have some. Now that we're talking about this, actually, I totally forgot. Maybe that's how I'll end. Whatever, I'll figure this out in post. But the Masters coming up this weekend. You have the odds out where you have Rory at the top. Can he achieve his career Grand Slam?
No.
It's always
No, because Rory's a bitch.
yeah. And I don't know, like,
Ooh, I hate the live
but
tournament.
I did see a stat today that he actually plays pretty well in the rain. It's not going to be the best weather there at Augusta this weekend.
I don't think Rory's going to win.
Yeah.
I did
Always has
I
trouble.
did see that as one of the things that are going to factor against Scotty Scheffler is the weather. They're saying that this is going to be designed more for the big hitters. That's why I put my money on Rahm.
Mm.
That
Why
was
not
my
Dustin
one
Johnson?
theory. I don't know because I don't trust you anymore. You always bring these names like Brooks Koepka 2 years ago. Like, oh, Brooks, man, he's so fucking ready, and then he didn't make the cut.
Okay, that was one time.
It was one time.
I've given
People
you
don't forget.
I've given you plenty of other great golf picks.
Okay.
I've won one golf bet, and it was Scotty Scheffler, so I'm riding him
No.
again.
Okay, this is a thing where I would say don't ride on Scotty Scheffler. So since the inception
that
of
shit.
the inception of the world ranking in 1986, Tiger Woods is the only player to win multiple majors while ranked number 1. He won 11 times from that top spot. Scottie Scheffler has never won 2 majors, hasn't gotten that second major yet as a number 1. So it's hard to do. There's no other player who's done it.
And to win 2 Masters
And to win 2
back,
Masters is
back
very
to back.
tough.
Tiger's the only one who's done that, right?
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you think Tiger will fare at this Masters?
Terribly. I mean, he could barely walk around that one next year. I mean,
Is
last
he hurt?
year. No, I mean, like,
He's always hurt.
He did the Masters last year. It was his first tournament after his car wreck or whatever. So
Yeah. I think that if he makes the cut, it's a good weekend.
yeah, me too. I agree.
But who knows? I mean, it's Tiger. He can turn it on for certain tournaments, and if everything's twisting right, you never know. It's Tiger Woods. But most likely, I think that, he'll
Okay, just
middle
for
of the
fun,
pack.
no money. Who's your pick to win the Masters? And then we'll pick it back up when it's over next week or in 2 weeks.
You start, Pete.
I will go with Jordan Spieth.
Wow.
And I will tell you this. This is why I think he will win. There are 46 players in all who are under par for their career at the Masters. The most under par in history are Tiger Woods at -89, Phil Mickelson at -72, but those guys have played there forever, right? The next player on that list is Jordan Spieth at -44, with Rory and Dustin Johnson at -32, -31.
I'm going to stick with Scotty.
Respectively. So
I'm going to stick with Scotty Chef.
the thing that might kill Spieth is he might suck at putting, and it's going to be raining, and the greens are going to be soft, and who knows? So that might kill him. But I think I'm going to go with Jordan Spieth.
Honestly, I'm kind of between because I would go with Scheffler as well. But my 2 kind of dark horses, since you already said that, are Max Homa. I could see him having a big weekend. And then, what's his name? I was just looking at
Tony Finau, the guy who I said had terrible body language at the Masters, which he did.
No.
I'd like to see Finau win.
Tony Finau.
Finau finally.
Max Homa and Colin Morikawa.
Morikawa.
Pick
sure.
one.
I'm going to go Morikawa.
So Morikawa, Spieth, Chef.
Yeah. And Zalatoris broke out last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was him and Scotty last year.
Yeah.
In the
Came
Masters.
down to it.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'm in a few Masters pools.
You were giving me shit because I said that Abraham Answer had an outside shot in my Jimmy's pool. But we saw him, I'm pretty sure,
At Live.
right? So that was my dark horse.
Abraham Answer.
He booms it. That guy can drive the hell out of a ball. And he's tiny. Little guy.
He is.
It's a wheel guy.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
So
Yeah.
he's not going to win. But
All are
Or Bubba Watson, maybe.
here's something.
Never heard of him?
Here
Phil.
it-
Can Phil win?
No.
Anybody can win.
No, there's
baby.
going to
It's
be
the
too
Masters.
much distraction with the live stuff. Here's something to watch as well. I love the analytics side of things. So, 17 of 86 times in Masters history has the winner led or co-led after round 1. So almost 20% of the time, 1 in 5 times almost, that if you're leading after day 1, you will win the Masters. So something to watch there. If you come out good,
That's
making your way,
as far as gambling. I think all my bets for the Masters, I'm gonna leave them alone. I'm gonna wait for days 1 and 2, and then probably place another one just to see who's in the top 5, and then pick one.
Scottie
Do a little live
Scheffler.
bet.
Yeah.
Scottie Scheffler is absolutely dominating the majors since 2020 under par. He's 44 under par in all of the majors collectively, with John Rahm at -27, Rory -26, Colin Morikawa -22.
Yeah, didn't he win one of them at like -26
something
or something
crazy?
like that?
Yeah, I forget which one. Which one was that? The Players?
Yeah,
Whatever.
it was this year.
Has there been a recent Masters where weather is a factor? Like it's gonna be bad like this, like raining and muddy.
It's going to be bad all weekend.
It
Yeah.
usually rains 1 or 2 of the
You
days.
usually get like a weather delay here and there.
Yeah.
But You can go ahead and you can get yourself a nice little concessions there. Maybe we've talked about this before, but one thing, Augusta costs so much money for the tickets and everything, but one thing that doesn't cost a lot of money is all of the
I saw the
food.
menu board.
The menu board.
$4.
Yeah. The most expensive thing on the docket is the white wine at $6, but you can get an egg salad sandwich or a pimento sandwich, which everyone really likes, for $1.50.
Give me both.
If you were to get one of everything on the menu, from egg salad sandwich all the way to the Georgia peach ice cream sandwich.
Let me guess. $47.
No, it's a little bit more than that.
God damn it.
Because the alcohol is the $5 and $6 or whatever.
$84.
$66.
Ooh.
$66 to get
That
one.
ain't bad.
Give me one of everything.
What kind of brews they got?
They've
What
just-
kind of
Michelob
suds?
Ultra is one of them.
What kind of suds they sipping?
Michelob's one,
It
right?
just says domestic beer and crow's nest. I don't know what crow's nest is. So it looks fancy. But
it's
yeah,
the Lone Star
it
of
just
Georgia.
says domestic beer, import beer. Maybe it's
How
Boneyard.
much?
$5.
I'll do it.
$5.
I'll do it. You don't have to,
$5.
you don't have to ask me twice.
You don't have to yell.
Okay, so
Well, also, it's been long overdue, but our ledger's clear.
ledger
It
is
is.
clear. Yes,
and
yes, yes,
it
yes,
is
yes.
ready to be replaced in the next few episodes with future NFL bets, some NBA playoff championship bets.
Yeah.
I mean, NFL. Peter came out with Super Bowl and the MVP.
That
I
was
came out with
nice,
college football champion.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yep.
I didn't.
Braxton paid up a lot.
Yeah,
Didn't
I
win
know.
much.
That was good.
You
I-
did win the Falcons bet with Mariota, so
I did.
A duck came through for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Always will.
It does still feel weird asking money from a twice dead guy. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, you should feel really guilty.
By the way, pay up for dinner. Maybe we'll do this just us two next week. Who knows? It was hard when he was gone because
Get
you
Alex.
couldn't
Get
drive
Alex
and
back
Get
here.
Alex.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh
Me and
But
no.
then he's going to be in this seat. He's going to be
Oh
in
no.
the rock. Oh boy. So
Get
you're,
Jodes.
Yeah, I know. He
I'm
has
less
to redeem-
concerned about Jodes.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, he has to redeem himself now, Mr. Soccer
Jordan will come
purist.
with the Jodes journal next week.
Oh.
and-
Yeah. Oh, don't do the Jodes journal without me. God no.
Yeah, we'll call you from the middle of the Caribbean or wherever the hell you're going.
Jordan's first
Dude.
Jodes journal was
I'm so
NBA
pumped about-
salaries, and the next Jodes journal would be, do you know how much it costs to feed an entire NBA arena?
he would be just coming in talking about the pitch,
Yeah,
the lads.
yeah. You want to know the scoring differential between pure grass versus turf?
In AstroTurf.
He's going to be pulling up different kinds of boots to wear out there on the pitch.
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited for you that you get a chance to decompress after dying twice to go on a vacation. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I'm so pumped. I've never been on a cruise. I just learned that there's themed nights that every evening for dinner and whatever you do after dinner, everybody on the cruise, you can choose to do it or not. But most people will it's white night and you all wear
sure.
white or everybody wears black.
Racist.
Yeah, white
Oh
night.
jeez, that was oh god, oh fuck.
What are you, the Iowa basketball team?
There's red night,
There you go.
blue night.
Maybe the theme can just be food.
Honestly,
Food night.
that's the theme for me.
Yeah.
Is I'm gonna have some fun drinks, but I'm not drinking very much right now, so I'm not gonna get wasted or anything. But they have fun drinks.
Yeah.
Every bar has its own kind of theme.
A little
So they
pina
have-
colada.
Yeah.
You got a white bar and a
Mai
black bar. Is
Tai.
that what you're saying? God, you're the one. You said it.
No, it's like there-
Fucking Max Kellerman.
there's an English pub
Yes,
that has
yes.
whiskeys and a whole bunch of different kinds of beers.
And, Guinness. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can get, Manhattans and old fashions and stuff like that. And then there's one that's more of a tiki bar, and you can get more of the pina colada, fun shit like that.
We posted up at one bar on our cruise that was doing Don Julio margaritas, and we were just there, just boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom.
I love that your
great.
back-to-back vacation are total opposite ends of the spectrum. Utah and then a Mexico cruise. Salt Lake
Yeah.
City,
Yeah.
Cozumel.
Make
Yeah.
sure to steal a 50-gallon barrel of water for us on your way home, too.
Oh, yeah.
For
gotta-
survival.
Yeah.
For survival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will. I'll grab that. It should. That's carry-on size, right?
Yeah, it's less than 3.5 ounces.
Yeah.
You try to put it on the carry-on thing. I think it fits.
I think we're good.
All right.
Is that it?
That's
Exciting.
We did it.
Enjoy your
Ledger
cruise.
is no longer clear.
Well, it's
There's
new.
one new one. I mean,
All right.
technically,
Math.
he still owes you a 6-pack of beer, and Jamie still
Oh,
owes me
Yeah, I
one.
know.
fuck.
And our golf bet is extended now. so
Extended. All right, clear eyes.
Lords.
can't lose.